Hello fam, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another best of 2020. Today I will be showing you some of my most used pressed as well as loose powders of 2020. So let's get started. Since I do not have a lot of loose powder to show you in this favorite videos, I have only two which I have loved the most during 2020. The first one is the Colourpop loose setting powder. This is the translucent setting powder. Oh my god, the cap is white, that is why you are not able to see the name also on top of it, but this is the powder which I have absolutely loved in 2020. The reason being of loving this powder is that it has that nice oil control effect to it. I am a combination too oily and I received this powder during my summers. I started using it and absolutely fell in love with it. The reason of me falling in love with this powder was that Delhi is extremely hot when it's summer, and when it is approaching to winters it gets extremely hot and humid also. So this kind of a powder really helped to control all the sweat and oil on my face, and I could easily film my videos and actually resist my makeup for longer hours. That is why this powder has made it to my favorite 2020s, but something which I really enjoy using. It is a translucent powder which doesn't give me any kind of flashback also. So if you haven't tried Colourpop loose setting powder, then you should be eyeing one. Translucent, I think, could be a best option for anyone and everyone. Moving on to another interesting loose powder and a well-made powder into a drugstore family. This is by the Kbeauty. The Kbeauty loose powder in the shade Banana. I will be getting another shade from this powder. I always want to get it, but whenever I add this to my cart, I always end up buying something else. That happens all the time. The reason being this powder made it to my 2020 was that this is very close to that Colourpop one, and this is very close to many other high-end loose powder also, I bet you. This instantly controls the oil, give you that nice blur effect on the face and a mattifying finish. This powder will not give you any kind of coverage though, and neither it will give you any kind of flashback. I did wanted to get the translucent one, but I always suffer from this flashback issue with a lot of the translucent powders. That is why I mentioned with the Colourpop one also that also doesn't give me any kind of flashback being translucent, and this being banana shade, which is more of a universal shade, will complement most of the Indian skin. I absolutely love the formula on this one. So if you haven't tried Kbeauty loose powder, what have you done? Buy this, and I bet you once you start using this, I don't think you're gonna love the Maybelline one, because Maybelline one I think is still thicker than this one. This is very fine. It's very fine and well done. So those were two of the loose powders which I have enjoyed in 2020. Let's move on to some pressed powders. The first one I have is for you, the Makeup Revolution Bake and Bloat powder. Now this is again one of those powders where I don't need a tissue paper. I just carry this powder in my bag. Wherever I'm going out, wherever I'm traveling, I will have this powder with me, because I feel this is a powder which is a mix of loose powder and a bloating paper and a normal powder, because it just instantly clears up the skin, takes up all that excess sebum from my face and just gives me that nice face. It doesn't give me any kind of coverage though, but I really like the finish of this one. I will definitely repurchase this powder for my skin type, because this is definitely made for oily skin. A dry skin, I would not suggest to go for this powder, because it clearly says that it is bake and bloat. So definitely a worth buying product, a worth buying powder for combination to oily who suffer from excess sebum secretion during the day. So yes, something which I have been using in 2020 a lot, and I've been using this powder more than 2 years, I would say 2 years, and I'm already near to hitting pan, because I do not use this powder on daily basis, but I do use this powder whenever I'm stepping out or I'm wearing makeup for longer hours and I just want to just brush up quickly. This is the powder I go for. Moving on to another favorite powder of mine, and a powder which I've already hit pan on, and I wanted to repurchase it in Black Friday, and this shade was out of stock. Can you imagine? This happened with me. So this is the LA Girl Pro Face HD High Definition powder. This comes into a packaging like this, and I mentioned this powder in my suggestion videos also that I will be picking it up. But by the time I added it in my cart and I wanted to check it out, this powder was out of stock. So I was like, why? Why it happens with me all the time? So this is a wonderful powder, again something I feel is a mix of loose powder and a pressed powder, and put it in a pan and wonderfully done. Again, this powder is something which is not going to give you extreme high coverage or a coverage, I would say, but just brushes off very well on the face and just give you this nice set face. If you are looking for something very mildly done in a pressed format, then I think this is the powder to go for. It really gives you that HD finish on the face. So yes, something which I have absolutely loved, and you can see the love on the pan itself. So yes, something which I will definitely be repurchasing. I want to repurchase it. I was just about to repurchase it, but then I couldn't. So yes, wonderful powder by LA Girl. Moving on to another love of my life, the L'Oreal True Match Super Blendable Pressed Powder. Today also I'm wearing this on my face. Now the reason of me loving this powder is again something which I just love using it. It just gives me what I'm expecting out of a loose powder. The reason of me using a pressed powder is just that whenever I do my base, it should just set it in place, and I should not be going back to my any kind of powder and touching it up at least for next 3 hours. So this powder does that magic for me. For that matter, any of the powders I showed you today, they do all this magic to my skin. So they do not allow my makeup to budge for straight up 4 to 5 hours, and I don't have to go in with any kind of touch up or picking up excess oil. All that I do not have to do at least for 5 hours. So this powder really fit into that category. Now this makeup I'm already wearing more than I think 6 hours, and you can still my makeup is spick and span with no touch-ups. So this powder has been my favorite over the years. This is not my first powder. This is my second powder by True Match, and I absolutely love the formula on this one. So if you're looking for something budgeted, good, and really holds your makeup well, this is the one you can be going for, and you can go for by L'Oreal. Another lovely powder, another well-made setting powder is the Rimmel Stay Matte powder. This is my second ever Rimmel Stay Matte powder in past 2.5 years. Now this is in the shade Warm Honey. The first one I have used is Chestnut. Now I really like the formula on this one. Also, it is very close to the L'Oreal one. This again is a very inexpensive setting powder. If you are looking for something inexpensive, well done, which is not going to give you like extreme coverage on top of your foundation and sit on your face, but just give you that nice blur and setting and simultaneously giving you mild coverage, then go in with this powder. This is a good powder by Rimmel at a very good costing. Again, something which really helps to hold your makeup for longer hours. I actually love using this powder for my very super full coverage looks also, because I feel since we do a lot of heavy makeup, a lot of heavy foundation, bronzer, concealer goes in, a powder like this fix everything and sets everything and puts everything in place. Because जब सब कुछ ज़्यादा ही heavy हो जाता है ना, तो फिर आपको लगता है हमने कुछ ज़्यादा ही makeup पहन लिया है. But if your powder is light and well done, then your makeup also feels lighter. That's my personal experience or my personal feel with the powder and the products I use. So a good lightweight powder does make a lot of difference when your full face is done. So yes, this powder does fall into that light powder category, which really sets everything and keep everything in place. Now we are down to the last powder, and the powder which I feel is more than a setting powder is the Faces Canada All Time Pro HD Setting Powder. It comes into a packaging like this. Now, frankly speaking, this powder doesn't just give me a blurred out effect, or it is not a powder which is going to set my face. It has a lot of coverage going on. It is a little thicker powder than a normal loose powder. It will give you a lot coverage than a usual setting powder. So even if you are a person who doesn't like to put a lot of foundation or doesn't want to go in with a full coverage foundation, then this powder will definitely add up to your makeup routine, because this powder itself covers up a lot. Now there are days when I don't want to wear a full coverage foundation, I just want to wear a primer and I want to just go in with a powder. So this powder comes pretty handy. I'm almost done with this powder. I'm going to hit pan on this one because of very basic reason. This is one of those everyday setting powders. If you are not a person who likes to wear foundation, then I think you will definitely enjoy this powder by itself on your primer and you're good to go. Never skip a primer. always wear a primer and then go in with any kind of face products you want to use. But definitely something I will be repurchasing soon by Faces Canada. So those were some of my most used setting powders of 2020 and I absolutely love all of them. I will be linking down everything in my description if you want to grab one for yourself. Consider subscribing and following me on my Instagram @BronzingGeek. I will be here soon with another best of 2020. Stay tuned on my channels for more favorite videos and for more review videos. Till then, you take care and I will see you in my next one.